This is the formula for creating whatever you want. Point at what you want and don't point in opposition. Point at what you want and don't point in opposition. But it's all right because you have habits of pointing in opposition, because you were raised by worrying people and because there's stuff all over. And so when you point at what you want, it makes you really sensitive to pointing in opposition. And when you do, you'll feel it. What we're suggesting is don't justify that feeling. After we said that in Chicago, Esther began noticing immediately how often she'd point at what she wanted and then point in opposition and then try to justify why she was pointing in opposition. And then she remembered us saying, never mind why, just don't do it. Because that's how you water down. That's how you dilute your focus. That's how you be, instead of certain, well, it's probable with question mark, or it's possible with question mark, or it's unlikely with certainty. In other words, pay attention to how you feel. And you want to be confident about things, but don't ask yourself to be confident when you're not. Just ask yourself to find more thoughts that shore up the confidence. And that's by pointing that way, pointing that way, pointing that way. And the more you point that way, you see, you can meet people who have had abundance, a lot of it, who then will say, I lost it. One of those came to a seminar, might even have been in this city, talking about how he had amassed a fortune and then lost it. And he was explaining to us how old he was and how much he'd been through to amass his fortune. And he was describing how completely unlikely it felt to him that he would ever be able to get it back again. And we said, but you're forgetting the most important thing. You've amassed a vibrational reality. As you are in the state of becoming, your inner being is focused in this vibrational reality. We call it the vortex. So important for you to accept it as a real thing that we wrote a book about it, vortex. But whatever you call it, it's this vibrational reality that never regresses. Hear this. It never loses your fortune. Your vortex will never lose your fortune. That's why when you think thoughts about loss, you separate yourself from what you have become. So when you realize that that's what's happening, and then you just say, well, okay, I get it. It's logical that I'm doing that. However, and before you know it, you start meeting people who have made a fortune that it just keeps growing. It just keeps growing. It just keeps growing. Or it spreads out over lots of different areas of your life experiences. There is no regression, but there is humans blocking themselves off from the becoming that they have accomplished. Jerry always said, you can't go back. You can't go back. And what he meant was, you can't go back to eating where you used to eat now that you've eaten there. Esther bought a new bed. She almost didn't come here. She stood in her bedroom and said, farewell. It's only 2 nights. I'll be back. Everything that you are, now you are in the state of attracting it everywhere you go. Whatever you are, you're attracting it everywhere you go. Yeah. Good? Really good. Come on. Really good. Just point that way and don't point in opposition. That's clear, isn't it? And now you've heard that. When you do, you'll recognize that you're doing it, and then you can do something about it if you want to.
First time in a hot seat, but not the first time having a leading edge discussion.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, something small. Does Esther still drive the monster bus every now and then? The Prego bus?
In her mind, she can hardly stand it. No monster bus in her life right now.
Oh,
but
no.
The road calls her in such a powerful way.
Yes.
Pulled in here, this is the place. The monster bus was always parked out by the back fence. They had 4 different ones over the decades that they were coming here to this hotel. One of the draws of this hotel was there was a place to park the monster bus right here at the hotel, which is lovely. She liked the monster bus, still does.
Yeah.
It was a 45-foot Prevost bus, Rockstar bus, really, really beautiful. Towed a car behind it. Esther did all the driving.
Yeah.
Way fun. Every now and again, she tries to talk a tour guide into letting her drive. They don't know how good she is. They don't know.
Yeah. So, Abraham, we're always creating, right? I've gotten into the vortex in the last several years, and I've become aware of future ways of handling transportation, technologies. And I know that I can get in the vortex because I've done it. That's how I received it. This is information that
Being
I know.
in the vortex, by that he means I know that I can release enough resistance that my vibration will rise high enough that I'm a vibrational match to this vibrational reality, so that what I want is a vibrational match to me, so that sometimes I catch actual glimpses. It's like I can have visualizations that are manifestations of what's there. All genius creators do that all the time.
And sometimes our genius, I don't know, maybe it's too much for sometimes like I've gotten resistance on my path now because
we have something important that we want to say to you, and that is that the best thing about becoming a deliberate creator as you are is understanding that the law of attraction always exemplifies or accomplishes, you're the creator, but achieves perfect timing. So sometimes your ideas are on the way, but more things have to come in place. Sometimes there are missing links in the technology or missing links in the readiness of the population.
So maybe it's not resistance, it's just a question from the universe that says, how do you feel about this? Because this is a question that has to be asked before you move further down your path towards that manifestation.
That's a fairly good way of saying
so
it.
It's not me being resistant, it's just me answering questions along the way.
But sometimes it's resistance, and here's how you know the difference.
I do feel that too sometimes.
Here's how you know the difference. You see, once you set something into your vortex, let's say that you've decided that you want to be a billionaire. Let's decide that you want to own a technology company that will be responsible for whatever it is. And you've thought about it, and when you think about it, it feels good to you. And it's big. It's so big, it almost takes your breath away. But you've practiced the knowingness of it, the naturalness of it. And you stand by ready for the next piece, and the next piece, and the next piece. Not in agitation or urgency, and not in any impatience, but in an attitude of readiness to receive. Well, this is the thing. This is the phrase that we really want you to remember, all of you, always, is that your inner being, that source within you, knows at all times where you stand in relationship with everything that you are in the process of creating. And this is the key phrase, and knows what is the most logical way to call you in the direction of what you want, given the resistance that you hold. Now, did you hear all of that? That means your inner being is not worried about your resistance and not mad at you for having it, understands that it's natural, because really when you think about it, standing right here in the now is resistance for everything that's coming next, because now is so compelling, isn't it? Even when you take a step, now is sort of holding you where you are a little bit. You didn't just fly over there. In other words, there's a continuum from
the momentum of now is in place.
That's a really good phrase. We have not said that phrase before. We've not heard that phrase before. There is a momentum of now. There is a momentum of now. That's really good. A momentum of now. So the momentum of now is caused by observing what is, talking about what is. A really slowing of the momentum of now is talking about the past that you didn't like, talking about the past you didn't like. Here, the watering down quality of that, what we're talking about. So what you're wanting is the momentum of where you're going. But here's the thing. Oh, just one moment. Here's the thing. If you are trying to reach harder into where you're going than you are ready for, you will cause a putting on the brakes. In other words, it has to feel like the next logical step. If you're trying too hard, that's because of awareness of now. Think about the things that come easily. Even during meditation this morning, Esther, once she relaxed, heard us say, do this for the pleasure of it, period. Not to make something happen, not to fix something that's broken. Allow your vibration to rise for the pleasure of it. And so that's good advice about anything. Allow yourself to want this for the pleasure of it, not because it's needed or urgent, for the pleasure of the creation.
So is it wrong for me
Never?
Sometimes I'll meditate when I meditate in the morning, I do it because it's like, well, I know that I want to have a good day today. I want to be clear when I step out into the world. I want to perform in a satisfying manner. I want to prepay from a place of clarity. My interactions at work, all of those kinds of things. So that's all good, but that's all fine. Okay.
But that's sort of what we were talking to Esther about today, because she loves being here with you all, and she is determined. Feel the edge in that a little bit. Determined to be in the right place for you, to be in the right place so that she can receive what you are asking for. And we wanted her to just cool her jets a little bit. Meditate for the pleasure of it, not for the responsibility of it. Alignment is delicious. Responsibility is edgy. Yeah.
This morning before I came here, I sensed you were like, I have your books. I have the Kajabi, so I do the every now and Abraham Now
broadcast.
Yeah. So, but this morning I had grabbed the flashcards. I've noticed they have like 4 or 5 sets of cards now.
Well,
but I have
cards,
one. I think they're like orange box or something. But I hadn't used them in a while, and I grabbed them. And I laid in bed. I still was on my pillow. And I found myself just kind of being at ease, like, well, you're going to go see Abraham today. Like, chill out. Like, you don't got to get up and make sure you bookmark it. Just use the flashcards. And then, matter of fact, take a nap in between the flashcards. And I did. I read like 5 or 6 cards, and then I would find myself just like falling into the pillow and just being like, yeah, see, like, it's not that serious. Like, read the flashcard. You're going to go see Abraham. The train ride's going to go well. There's going to be an automated Starbucks machine. Like, just chill out.
The advantage of those cards. Now, we've been talking about most humans calibrate to what's going on around them. And that is the biggest reason for introducing resistance into your own point of attraction. Because most humans are calibrating to other humans and what they think, spending all your time sifting and sorting and trying to decide what's the rightest and what's the wrongest of everything, rather than calibrating to where you're going. So those decks of cards, there's one on prosperity and one on physical well-being and one on relationships, and what they're about, they are perfectly calibrated to the frequency of those subjects. Not only the artwork on them, so much was considered in every card. It took years, really, to get those cards calibrated. The intention being, when you do as you do, simply take the card in. There is not a word on any one of those cards that is calibrated in opposition of pure desire. So as you take them in and they feel natural to you, it's a very powerful exercise in calibration. Meditation is an equally powerful exercise in calibration if you're able to quiet your mind. But you've trained yourself to be thinkers, and that's a good thing. You've trained yourself to focus because you're creators, and that's a good thing. Quieting your mind is not something that you do that easily. We would rather you be in a state of appreciation than in a state of meditation, because there's no resistance in either case. And appreciation comes more natural to you than quieting your mind. You're not built to shut your mind down. You really are not. We would use meditation as a way to cool off when it was hard to do it in any other way, and for the pleasure of that pure alignment with source energy. Most people don't meditate in those ways. Most people are trying to use meditation as a tool to get what they want, and that's cross purposes. That's like trying to ask a question and receive an answer at the same time. The vibration of the question and the vibration of the answer, if you already knew the answer, you wouldn't have the question. The fact that you've got the question means that you might not be ready for the answer. So you want to ask the questions and then live with it, knowing that your inner being heard your question and extrapolated your desire for the answer out of it, has queued up the answer and all manner of cooperative components to help you get it. And if you'll just chill more, you'll just run right into the answer. I was just wondering about that.
Yeah. So you mean to tell me I came up here to get in a chair, you're going to tell me it's the same answer you've been giving us this whole time?
Yeah,
it's the same. I was going to get a different answer. No, it's going to be the same answer.
You want your money back, don't you?
Answer. The book says it. The cards say it. The Abraham Now says it. It's been saying it since you were born.
It takes a little while, though. It takes a little while to see it through the lens of that knowing. Because if something that you've picked up along your physical trail is that life's hard, and then somebody says something to you that's so simple and easy, you think, this is suspicious to me.